In the world of audio, Harman is an absolute giant. But in the marine audio space, two brands reign supreme, and that is JBL and Infinity. Today, we've got Ericsson consumers Bruce Perron joining us to unveil a slew of new product coming to you from both JBL and Infinity. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about JBL and Infinity Marine Audio. And it starts now. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and on the agenda today, we're talking about two huge brands in the audio space, but today it's about marine audio. We're talking JBL and Infinity. We've got standing by in our studio Mr. Bruce Perron, who is the category manager for Ericsson Consumer, the Canadian distributor for both these brands. Bruce, the first thing I've got to ask you is how much new product are we actually going to be talking about today?
You're right, Ben. We've got an exciting amount of products that we're going to talk to you about today that are both JBL and Infinity.
All right, Bruce, we're going to get into it. But first, a quick message from our sponsor, SiriusXM. And when we come back, let's get into JBL and Infinity marine audio gear. Don't you dare go away.
Hi, Paul Truman here with SiriusXM. We reached out to some of our partners in the industry, and here's what they had to say.
I can't say more or enough about just what it means to have our unit working with SiriusXM. It's like we're there now.
The SiriusXM service is something consumers want, right? So it's Paul.
That allows a consumer to listen to either podcasts, entertainment, sports, all at their fingertips. It's all about engagement, and that's what SiriusXM provides.
SiriusXM is a huge component in a vehicle nowadays. Consumers expect that technology to be available both in our OEM system as well as the aftermarket upgrades that they're applying to their vehicle.
Alpine and SiriusXM, through our electronics, are able to offer the consumer on the aftermarket side SiriusXM 360L, which is an expanded platform for SiriusXM. And it's really been a beneficial relationship for us with SiriusXM.
As a dealer, just remember, we don't compete with anybody else. We are absolutely one of the best profitability accessories you can add to any head unit that is SiriusXM ready.
All right, thanks for joining us today on Connected. We're talking JBL and Infinity marine gear. We've got Bruce Perron queued up. So, Bruce, the first question to start today's dialogue is really something that's certainly been on my mind and certainly on the mind of many other consumers and dealers out there. Could you help us understand the distinction between the two brands, JBL and Infinity?
That is a great question, Ben, and I'm asked that pretty well every day. So both companies, JBL and Infinity, are Harman Industries, which are 16 different brands. So the main difference between JBL and Infinity, when you're looking at speakers, is the sound signature. So the sound signature is how the sound is reproduced. JBL is known for its great rock sound with great punchy bass and clear highs. Yet Infinity is more of a reference sound that doesn't really change the input, just reproduces it as clear as you could possibly imagine.
Thank you so much for that explanation, Bruce. So let's get into some of the product. Let's start from the top. Let's start about source units. I know there's some exciting new announcements that I've seen on the news with regards to a couple new source units for the marine space and maybe a couple other options that dealers need to know about.
Well, Ben, talking about marine head units, we've got quite a variety. We've got the gauge style, which is great for a retro mod. We've got the rectangular series with a color or a monochromatic screen. But we've got JAM-3000, which is a brand new model, which is going to be in about 2 weeks. And then JAM-5000, which give you multi-zone NEMA 2000, so you can hook it up to all your navigation stuff. That's launching in September.
I really have to say that 5000 unit is pretty much has all the bells and whistles and looks really sharp, really nice with that big screen. So definitely look out for that, guys. You heard it here first, coming out to you in September. All right, moving on to amplifiers. So this is exciting news, Bruce. Some new amplifiers being launched with tons of power and tons of different models that'll really help your system building. So let's break it down for them. Let's talk about the new JBL amplifiers.
So when we look at marine amplifiers, because as we know, when we're out on the water, it's pretty noisy. So over the last couple of years, we've had a great amount of marine amplifiers available, but what we were really missing is a big multi-channel. So we're really happy that we now have a 75 watt by 8 that you can configure to either run 4 speakers or 5 or 6, however you want to configure it, to be able to run your tower speakers, your 6.5, your sub, as well as great offerings in mono amps in 600 or 1,000 watts, and then a couple different 4-channel options.
Wow, a full power 75 8-channel amplifier. That is going to be amazing for a 1 amp solution for many, many systems out there, especially the bigger rigs. Why don't we dig a little bit deeper, Bruce, on some of the other offerings within this amplifier selection?
Exactly, Ben. So the two new amps that we have that we're just launching, 150 watts by 4, so a really good high power 4-channel, and a configurable 75 watt by 8. So what I discovered in the spring, because of course, people are like, gotta do my boat. Who do I know? Wait, I'm gonna call Bruce. He's gonna do some stuff for me, right? So I go out to the boats and I look, and most boats right from the factory, small 4-channel amp, and you've only got about this much room to put an amp in. So you can take out the 4-channel, put in 1 amp to be able to run everything in your boat, and you just configure it for how many speakers you have.
Well, of course, now that you've got the power and the source unit established, the next step is to take a look at the speaker offering. Now, JBL offers different levels of speakers, but the one I really want to talk about is one I feel is very innovative. And this is a convertible speaker, guys. Yes, what does that mean? You know what? This is pretty unique in the marine audio space, and for good reasons. I'm going to let Bruce show you. I believe he has an 8-inch driver standing by, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about how this unique design could really help you optimize the sound in whatever vessel that you're working on.
Great mention, Ben. So, what is a convertible speaker? Does the top come off? No, that's not it. So, convertible speaker, when you've got either an 8 or a 10-inch, and this is like our lovely marine series with the cast polymer. You notice there's no metal on it to rust out on it, but mid and high frequencies are directional. So, if this is mounted way down in your gunnel panel, it's going to be kind of sounding like this because you don't get the mids and the highs. So being able to take out this section, mounting it in here, and then mounting it high up in your gunnel or your radar arch, you're going to be able to very clearly hear the mids and the highs, as well as the sub.
Like I said, that convertible system I think is truly unique in this space and gives installers a real range of options when it comes to optimizing the sound dispersion on any vessel that you're working on. So kudos to JBL for that design. All right. Of course, finally, we've arrived at one of the most fun parts of the sound system, which is, of course, the bass. So, Bruce, if you don't mind, share with us what subwoofer options we have to play with when it comes to these JBL speakers.
Well, speaking about subwoofers, Ben, we've got quite an array of different subwoofers available, either in Infinity or JBL. So when you're looking at this guy right here, this is one of our stage series. So very easy to mount, all polymer cast on it. One thing about all JBL speakers is the +1 cone area. So essentially the way that it's manufactured, it comes out much wider than our competitor speakers. So it effectively gives you more cone area, which is very cool. So you've got an 8, a 10, a 12 that's available. Now, when you're looking at speakers, you're like, okay, is that a 4 ohm or a 2 ohm in terms of subwoofers? So when you're configuring your system, you're like, okay, I've got to do this. Maybe down the road, you're going to decide you're going to add a different amp or run a different impedance on your amps or add subwoofers. Instead of having to change your subwoofers over, really cool feature on the Stadium series is called an SSI, which is unique to Harman. The SSI switch on the back lets you to put it in either 4 ohms or 2 ohms so that you can better configure your system. Oh yeah, marine speakers. They should probably light up. They do. Marine speakers in the Stadium series have a perimeter RGB that you can change into different colors, as well as the Stadium series in the 6-inch and the 8-inch have either perimeter or full RGB, full light up capabilities.
All right, Bruce, we've kind of done the tour of all the latest and greatest products in the marine audio space from the JBL products today and a couple new products in there. So, what message do you have for dealers that may be tuning in, learning about JBL and marine audio gear?
I would say dealers or consumers that are looking for some really great quality product, all Harman product, JBL or Infinity, goes through extensive testing before they're going to put the JBL or Infinity brand logo on it, so that you know that the product that you get is industrial grade product. Tower speakers, we invented them. Who else does better horns? You're looking at 6.5s, 8-inch, 10s, 12s, being able to take the speaker apart, convertible, or multi-channel amps. We've got it all at JBL and Infinity. Make sure you check us out before you go shopping.
That was Bruce Perron from Ericsson Consumer, representing both JBL and Infinity brands. Now, if you're looking for more information, especially if you're in Canada, make sure you hit up the team at Ericsson Consumer, reach out to the rep. They'll get you all the information you need to know about becoming a potential new JBL Infinity dealer. My takeaway from this is pretty simple. This is a brand that's been around forever. You heard Bruce say it. They invented the horn. I mean, how important is that when it comes to these Wake Tower speakers? But more importantly, this is a brand that has heavily invested into, the quality of sound. Engineers, R&D, there's no mistake. Whenever JBL or Infinity come up with a product, there is a ton of R&D behind it. And I think the quality speaks for itself. If you've ever had a chance to see, feel, touch, hear any of these products in person, there's no doubt in my mind you would be just as blown away as I would be when you get to play with these cool toys. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.